Hello everybody, I am Jay Shady, the voice of reason, and I am back to talk about some Wrestlemania 12. So this Wrestlemania was obviously most importantly and mainly about one thing, and that was the main event. Everything else on this show was secondary. So since the main event delivered, I'll have to say that this pay-per-view delivered. It was a good show, an enjoyable good show. Especially coming off of WrestleMania 11, arguably the worst fucking WrestleMania of all time. This was a nice breath of fresh air, something new, something fresh. So good show, let me get right into this card. It opens up the first match, 6-man tag match. It was Vader, Owen Hart, and the British Bulldog versus Yokozuna, Jake Roberts, and Ahmed Johnson. And before I talk about this match, what the fuck ever happened to Ahmed Johnson? I remember when I was a kid, they were trying to make a big deal of him. He seemed like he was going to be a main event or a serious deal, and then he just went away. I don't know I never read what happened to him. I'm guessing he was black, so Vince McMahon decided you're not going too far in this company because you're black. But yeah, so I thought this was an enjoyable opener. I thought it was a pretty good opener. It was good, enjoyable. It was slow at parts. It really dragged in the middle, especially when Yokozuna's team was, Vader's team was beating down Jake the Snake Roberts for what felt like 10 minutes. But it definitely was, it started off good and it definitely picked up towards the end. It ends with Vader doing the Vader bomb to Jake the Snake Roberts to get the pin for his team. So a good opener, a nice opener to the show. Thumbs up. Then, okay, so you have something going on throughout this show. The Hollywood backlot brawl between Roddy Piper and Goldust. And I remember watching this as a kid, and it's just so bizarre and weird and disturbing and absurd and awesome. It's just so strange, this Hollywood backlot brawl and Goldust and Roddy Piper and what they were doing. This was the precursor to Attitude Era TV. This was, the initial stuff that represented what the Attitude Era was being about. You had Goldust trying to running over Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper takes a baseball bat and starts breaking Goldust's car with the baseball bat. They're having this brawl in the Hollywood backlot, and it was very Attitude Era-esque. You could totally tell that this is the start, the rumblings working towards the Attitude Era, and then you have Goldust driving away with the car. Roddy Piper's chasing him in another car. And then throughout the night, they're showing the video of the chase, and they're using the O.J. Simpson car chase when the police were chasing O.J. Simpson. Oh man, I remember watching this as a kid. It was just so stupid and silly and weird that it was so awesome, and I love this shit. It was just so strange, and Vince McMahon, when they're showing the car chase, he's saying, I feel like I've seen this clip before. It was just Attitude Era-esque. You could totally tell this belonged in the Attitude Era. Eventually, they get to the arena, and Roddy Piper and Goldust start beating each other up, doing a bunch of gay shit. You have Goldust fondling Roddy Piper's ass. And you have they start kissing and making out and shit, and then you have Roddy Piper grabbing Goldust by the balls, and then he takes off Goldust's attire, and he's wearing some weird fucking women's dress and a thong and shit. It was just so fucking bizarre. If you don't know what this is, check this out. It's so strange and just weird, but so much awesomeness, and this definitely helped out the grade for the show for me, because this was just for placing out, what we're going to get with the Attitude Era, for, being ahead of its time in that way, for showing what the future is going to hold. I definitely rate this as a great segment in this WrestleMania, and very enjoyable, very exciting, and so fucking bizarre. Then your second real match, you had Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Savio Vega. Stone Cold Steve Austin had the ringmaster gimmick. Ted DiBiase was his manager. Stone Cold was holding the $1 million belt. I didn't really like this match. It had good spots. It definitely had its good moments. But I just thought it was really slow. And the crowd really hurt it for me. The crowd was so dead during this match. They had no clue that the guy in this match was going to be one of the greatest legends in the wrestling business in 1 or 2 years. But, yeah, this match wasn't too good. I didn't like the ending. The crowd just wasn't into it. The ending was there's a ref bump, and then Austin starts beating Savio Vega with the $1 million championship. Then he does the $1 million dream, and Savio Vega just passes out, so Stone Cold wins. You know, the crowd really hurt this match for me, and I didn't think it was that good of a match anyway. Yeah, mediocre. Then you get Hunter Hearst Helmsley being accompanied by Sable. Hunter Hearst Helmsley had like some rich guy gimmick, like Fred Astaire tuxedo shit. And he was facing the Ultimate Warrior. The Ultimate Warrior returning. And it was the Ultimate Warrior squashing Triple H in under 2 minutes. The Ultimate Warrior totally no-sells the pedigree, gets up, does the Gorilla Press Slam and the splash, and there you go. Get this Hunter Hearst Helmsley jobber the fuck out of the arena. You know, I mean, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H, has had his fair share of burying people, you know. It's only fitting that he gets buried once. But this just felt so weird. It just looked strange because it was like the Ultimate Warrior is like the 1980s, just getting in a time machine, getting in a DeLorean and invading 1996. It just looked strange. It felt strange. It just didn't fit with the year. So I don't know. This was just weird to me. Okay, then you get The Undertaker versus Diesel. This was not a good match, you know. Poor Undertaker, you know. His first 5 WrestleMania matches were just not good at all. And I don't know about Sid Taker, but I hear that's not too good. So, yeah, I guess it really took a while for Taker to find his real WrestleMania matches. But this started out okay. Like, this started out good. Like, big guy powerhouse, big guy match between, you know, 2 big guys. But then it just really slowed down with Diesel just dominating the whole match. Undertaker did nothing but get beat up, and it just slowed down so much. Diesel was doing like 1 move per minute, you know, just a lot of walking around, a lot of stalling in between moves. It never really found a good pacing, like a high, like octane, like a fast pacing that it needed, especially towards the end. I liked that The Undertaker sat up from 2 jackknife powerbombs, but even towards the end, it never really kicked into high gear. It still felt slow. And Undertaker gets the win with the chokeslam and a tombstone. So the streak continues 5-0, but I didn't like this match at all. I really didn't. Then, of course, you get the main event. Shawn Michaels versus Bret the Hitman Hart for the WWF Championship in the classic over 60-minute Iron Man match. You know, I gotta say, this is at a time when Vince McMahon had some fucking grapefruits, had some fucking balls. To do a show mainly based around one match, to have a show go over, to have a match go over 1 hour, and to expect the audience to be invested in an over hour-long match was just so revolutionary, so, you know, like, badass on Vince McMahon's part when he had fucking balls, especially coming off of WrestleMania 11. He really needed to do something new, something fresh. And you never get shit like this, you know? This was something that they never did. This is WrestleMania. Having a over 1 hour match when you're usually displaying as much talent as possible, you're dedicating over 1 hour to 2 guys for the WWF Championship. When the fuck do you get new ideas in WWE today, you know? Never. That's why I, you know, love this match, you know, so much, even more for, you know, the match itself. The fact that it was just so visionary on Vince McMahon's part, and it's such a big risk to take, you know, having a over 60-minute match at WrestleMania. No fucking risks are taken in the WWE anymore. They just do the same old fucking shit. But yeah, I mean, this was my favorite match as a child. I would watch this shit like every fucking day, every other day. You know, this is like the match that just really, really made me fall in love with wrestling. I know the ladder match with Ramon and Shawn was the first I saw, but this was the one that spoke to me the most. This is the one that, when I was a kid, made me envision myself having a match at WrestleMania, you know, coming down the skyline like the zip line like Shawn Michaels. This is the one that made me want to be a wrestler or whatever when I was a kid. Imagine me performing in front of millions. Yeah, what an amazing match. the start with Jose Lothario, Shawn Michaels trainer. He comes out and the Sexy Boy theme is playing. They're introducing Shawn Michaels and he's nowhere to be found. And Jose Lothario comes and points to the rafters. And one of my favorite WrestleMania moments of all time, if not my favorite, Shawn Michaels in the rafters coming down the zip line and Vince McMahon, "Oh, Shawn Michaels, look at that!" It's just so epic, and it just, it especially as a kid, that was so fucking amazing to me. The greatest entrance ever, in my opinion. This was just like you couldn't do this match with any other guys. If you've had this match with any other guys, this match would have been a complete failure. But you had Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, arguably the two greatest in-ring workers of all time. And you didn't need like a fancy type of feud or storyline, You didn't need any type of grudge happening or complex shit. It was just two faces, the best of the best, having a Iron Man match, testing their will, testing their stamina to see who is the better guy. You had Bret Hart, the champion, a little more of a veteran than Shawn Michaels, a little more seasoned. Shawn Michaels, the young guy setting his sights on living his dream, the boyhood dream, but still they're kind of in the same generation, but Bret Hart being just a little more experienced and Shawn Michaels wanting. Bret Hart had multiple championships at this point, Shawn Michaels needing to get that first. I really like how this match made wrestling look prestigious and respectable and credible. You had the referee patting both guys down for weapons, laying out the rules. It looked realistic. It looked like wrestling was a respectable sport, and you really needed this, especially after WrestleMania 11 with, the football players going over wrestlers, making wrestlers look retarded. You really needed this. So if you hate Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, or one of the guys, you're gonna hate this match because you have to deal with them for over 60 minutes. But if you're a huge fan of both guys, especially Shawn Michaels like myself, this is heaven. This is a love fest. This is sex. A bunch of 60 minutes of orgasms. The match itself, it takes a while to get going. The first 20-25 minutes are amateur mat-based technical chain wrestling, a lot of rest holds, but you needed to do that because if you did all the flippity-floppity stuff from the start, first of all, you're going to have the crowd dead, by the halfway mark in the match because there's going to be just too much going on. And the wrestlers, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, their stamina is going to be totally gone. They're not going to be able to do all the flippity-floppity stuff towards the end. So, it needed to have a slow pace in the first 20 to 25 minutes. But once it hits like the 30-minute mark, then it really gets exciting. It never looks back, and it keeps on going higher and higher in gears. It keeps on going higher and higher in levels of excitement. You have some great spots in this match. Shawn Michaels trying to super kick Bret Hart outside the ring. Bret Hart moves and he kicks the timekeeper. Shawn Michaels doing the cross body out to Bret Hart outside of the ring, off of the turnbuckle. Like, oh man, especially as a kid, like you really thought like people could fly or something. Bret Hart doing a massive fucking back body drop to Shawn Michaels over the ring post onto the floor. Bret Hart trying to get that sharpshooter in at the closing minutes of the match. I loved how the match. The time limit expired with no decisions on both guys' parts. It really, cemented their legacy, made them both look like equal competitors and the best of the best. None of these guys were able to get a decision over the other. Very equal match. It ends in the last 30 seconds. Bret Hart has the sharpshooter on Shawn Michaels and he's not giving up for 30 seconds and the bell rings. And then the great sudden death rules. There must be a winner. Bret Hart comes back. He thinks he's got Shawn Michaels, but out of nowhere, super kick. But Shawn Michaels is out of it. Both guys get up. Michaels is tuning up the band. Sweet chin music. 1, 2, 3. Shawn Michaels is the WWF Championship. Oh, man, Especially when you're a huge Shawn Michaels fan and that's your favorite guy. This is just epic. The last, 10, 15 minutes of this match, even though I've seen this match so many times, still the last 10 to 15 minutes are so electrifying and just mind-blowing, and enthralling and invigorating. It's like so many near falls. Even though I was watching this for like the 20th time, this time I was still on the edge of my seat, like what is gonna happen. It's just really amazing match. You know, one of my childhood favorite. It was my childhood favorite. Still one of my favorite matches to this day. You know, seeing Shawn Michaels win. You know, Vince McMahon. The boyhood dream has come true for Shawn Michaels. Just a great ending to WrestleMania. And it really needed this. This WrestleMania really needed a respectable, prestigious, classy type of main event to really establish wrestling as its own sport, a serious, legitimate sport after the, WrestleMania 11 thing. So yeah, because this WrestleMania was all about the Iron Man match, I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. You know, all the other stuff was just secondary. It didn't matter. But still, I really enjoyed the Hollywood Backlot Brawl. That definitely helped this grade out. I liked the opener. I thought it was an enjoyable opener. The other matches were not good. But this, when you watch WrestleMania 12, it's for the Iron Man match. So that's what this rating is based on. 7.5 out of 10. If some of the undercard stuff really delivered and were good to great, this could have been one of the best WrestleManias of all time. But still, the first enjoyable WrestleMania since WrestleMania 8. Oof, what a bad slump WWF was in. But yeah, there you go. There's my review. I'll be back with my WrestleMania 13 review, which is my last WrestleMania that I have not seen in my life. So I'm looking forward to that. Especially Austin and Brett. There you go. Hope you enjoyed this review. Jay Shady, the voice of reason. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.